We now have all of the Reign of Jafar cards revealed, and this set is looking incredible with so many amazing cards. In this video we're going to pick a top 20 from the new reveals and give quick explanations on why I think they're great. Before we get started, a quick reminder to leave a like if you enjoy the video. Picking a top 20 is going to be difficult, but let's give it a go. Okay, in at number 20 is Hades, Ruthless Tyrant. Amethyst Ruby has gotten a lot of love in this set and is really pushing a damage move style deck, with self-inflicting cards like Hades, Mother Gothel, and Everybody's Got a Weakness to give big card draw payoffs as well as ways to add damage counters to your opponent's board. Hades is a 7 cost uninkable with a 3/6 stat line that quests for 2 and reads, when you play this character and whenever he quests, you may deal 2 damage to another chosen character of yours to draw 2 cards. I really like the May option on this, as you may not want to use the ability on play, but do want to the next turn after a quest. Up next at number 19 is Lumiere, Fired Up. This was almost the best card of the set, as it was teased to have evasive and ward, but thankfully it's not that strong, but still a really great card for those Ruby Sapphire item decks. Lumiere is a 5 cost inkable Floodborn with a 4/3 stat line that you can shift for free. He's evasive and quests for 2, but each time you banish an item, he'll get +1 lore that turn. Cycling Porpsicles with Tamatoa and Lumiere is going to be really good, I feel like. A really strong card. Next up at 18 is Mushu. Mushu is a 6 cost inkable Floodborn with a nice 4/6 stat line that you can shift on the new 3 cost Mushu. He quests for 2 and has the ability All Fired Up. Whenever you play another character, they gain Rush, Reckless, and Evasive this turn. This is really great synergy with what Ruby Steel's trying to do, gaining lore for those challenges. However, I do feel like the Reckless lets it down a little, as you don't necessarily want to rush into something that can lead to some bad trades. But I do really like the card, and I think he's really cool addition to Ruby Steel. At 17 we have our first legendary of the list. It's Goofy, Groundbreaking Chef. He's a 4 cost inkable with a 3/4 stat line that quests for 2. His ability is great. At the end of your turn, you may remove up to 1 damage from each of your other characters, then ready the characters you remove damage from. Goofy is a fantastic addition to aggro decks. I think playing this guy with Daisy Ducks is going to be great, as they can quite likely have damage and this card would just heal and protect them. I also like the potential synergy with Bolt too. Next on the list is Car, Hypnotizing Python. Car is a 4 cost uninkable in Amber Emerald that has 3 strength and 3 willpower. They quest for 2, and whenever they quest, chosen opposing character gets -2 strength and gains Reckless. This is a really strong ability. It's just a little bit of a shame it's only on quest and not when the character enters play. But I still really like the idea of this card. At 15 we have another legendary in Mickey Mouse, Giant Mouse. Recently we've had some cards being able to cheat out these kinds of huge characters. The 2 cost Mickey from Arcasia's Island being the clearest option to try and utilise this card's full power. The reason I've got this card on the list is I'm confident people will figure out a way to get this mouse out reliably. Unfortunately, there's still plenty of targeted removal that can deal with Mickey, whether that be putting him straight into the inkwell or return to your hand, but I still think this card's really great and a lot of fun. In at 14 is Raya. Raya is an Emerald 6 cost inkable with a 5/5 stat line that quests for 2, and whenever she quests, you can pay 2 ink to ready another chosen character. There's so many different combos you can pull off with this card, and I'm really excited to see what people cook up with it. The most obvious thing that comes to mind is Emerald Sapphire, Mufasa, but I'm sure there's endless combos that you could do with Raya. Moving swiftly on to number 13, we have a card I'm particularly looking forward to trying out. It's Maui, Stubborn Trickster. Maui is a dual link Emerald Steel that's a 6 cost inkable with a 4/4 stat line that quests for 3. Where this card really shines is his ability. Whenever he's banished, you can choose 1. Put 2 damage counters on all opposing characters, or banish all opposing items, or banish all opposing locations. I really like the versatility of this effect, and can't wait to try out this card. Imagine a Bagheera on 5, followed up by Maui. Now your opponent has to take damage from Bagheera being banished, and has to deal with Maui questing for 3, and dealing damage when he's banished. I'm so excited for this card that maybe it should have been higher on my list. In at 12 is another really cool card I'm excited to try out. It's Arthur, Determined Squire. This card is a Sapphire Steel dual link and a 4 cost inkable that quests for 3 and a 6/6 stat line, so an incredible body to slam on the board on turn 4. However, his ability, No More Books, means you have to skip your draw at the start of your turn, which in an aggro build with Doc and another steel card that can draw you cards, which we'll talk about later, isn't a bad trade-off as you still have draw options. I really like this card, and honestly, he's another one that could have been higher on the list, but there's so many great cards to choose from. And one of those cards is Jeweled Collar. Emerald Sapphire is not really a deck I've played or know too much about, but I've seen some really great item builds in that colour combo, and I think Jeweled Collar is a great addition to those decks. It's a 2-cost inkable item that reads, whenever one of your characters is challenged, you may put the top card of your deck into your inkwell face down and exerted. This will really make your opponent think twice about challenging, else they'll just end up ramping you. And if characters can survive multiple challenges, the ink advantage is going to end up being really powerful. Now we're into the top 10, and honestly, all of the cards so far could have been in the top 10 because they're all so good. But here are my personal picks for cards I think we'll see more of in the meta, or cards that are just so powerful in their ink combinations that it's improved the deck drastically. And an example of that is Captain Hook, the Pirate King. A very fitting name, as this card is going to really boost pirate decks in my opinion. Hook is a 5-cost inkable Floodborn that you can shift on another Hook for free ink. He has a 4/5 stat line and quest for 2, and has the ability, once during your turn, whenever an opposing character is damaged, your pirate characters get +2 strength and gain resist 2 this turn. The reason I think this is so great is in these pirate decks, running a lot of action synergizes well, like Fire the Cannons for example. You can pay the 1 ink to deal that 2 damage with Fire the Cannons, then all of your pirates suddenly get unbelievable trade value. A Mr. Smee would hit for 5 and take 2 less damage, and not taking damage at the end of the turn because of the captain. I really like Hook, he's another card I can't wait to try out. At number 9 I have Down in New Orleans, a 6-cost uninkable song that lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then reveal a character, item or location with 6 cost or less and play it for free. Put the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. I think a lot of people's first reaction to this was Ruby Sapphire and cheating out more great characters like Maui or Tamatoa. However, with so many actions and cheap items in those decks, I'm not sure you get the card's full value. A friend of mine mentioned the idea of singing this card with the legendary Prince Naveen when he's played, and I really like that idea. More love for Amber Sapphire is really cool, and he thought about cooking up an Amber Sapphire bodyguard deck that utilises Mufasa to also cheat out those free cards. I really like that idea, and I think that deck has potential thanks to this awesome card. At number 8 is Ludwig Von Drake, all-around expert. He's a 2-cost uninkable with a 1/1 stat line that quests for 1, but he has 2 incredible abilities. Superior Mind. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a non-character card of your choice. So basically a Bare Necessities or a 2-cost Ursula as an Amber Sapphire dual link. His other ability is great too. Whenever he's banished, you put this card into your inkwell face down and exerted. So 2 fantastic abilities to really boost this ink combo, which I think is a much needed addition. I think this card's so good, it will really motivate people to try and make this deck work, and I can't wait to see what people do with him. At number 7 is Lady, Family Dog. Lady is a 3-cost inkable that quests for 2 with a 2/2 stat line, and has the fantastic ability, when you play this character, you may play a 2-cost character with cost 2 or less for free. So being able to play this card on turn 3 with a Piglet is absolutely crazy for aggro decks. Not to mention you can shift the 5-cost uninkable Lady onto this card and get more 2-cost characters back from your discard. I do feel this card is probably limited to aggro decks, but will really shine in Churner Dogs, or just plain old Amber Steel aggro builds. Even just a Lady in the Tramp theme deck without Chernobog will be great. There's so many good cards for it now. And the flavor text "she's happiest in the company of those she loves" is probably a little hint to that. I think playing a 2-cost Tramp for free with this card is great. Also, the new Jock card, the turn after you play this, you'll most likely have 3 characters in play, so that'll be really strong for aggro too. So I really like this card. Next up at number 6 is another card that really boosts an unfavored ink combination. Antonio Madrigal, Friend to All, is a 4-cost inkable that quests for 2 with a 2/2 stat line, and has the ability, once during your turn, whenever one of your characters sings a song, you may search your deck for a character card with 3 cost or less and reveal that card to all players. Put that card into your hand and shuffle your deck. If it's not clear why this ability is so great, let me suggest this. You have 4 copies of Antonio in your deck for consistency. Then, on turn 4, you play this card and sing a song with another character. You can then tailor your deck to have multiple different options running only one copy of them. Then whichever best suits that matchup or board state is the one you choose. For example, you can have one copy of Peter Pan Shadowfinder, one copy of Gaston, one copy of Tiana, and one copy of Baloo. All uninkable cards that you can now consistently find exactly when you need them without having to run multiple copies. And that's just my tiny brain coming up with that idea. I'm sure this card can be utilised in so many other ways and really shine and be a staple of Amber Amethyst. Into the top 5, and at number 5 we have Tramp, Dapper Rascal. Tramp is a 6-cost inkable Floodborn character with a fantastic 2/8 body that can shift for 4 and quest for 2. He has the ability Play It Cool, where during an opponent's turn, whenever one of your characters is banished, you may draw a card. Now this is a fantastic card for so many reasons, like being able to shift on the 2-cost Tramp and having a massive 8 willpower, and the drawing a card whenever he's banished or whenever another character's banished. This card would probably be number 1 on the list if it wasn't for that 2 strength being really vulnerable to Ruby removal. However, we still don't know if cards like Brawl and Sisu will be reprinted, so maybe once those cards are gone, this Tramp will be unstoppable. It's actually really cool to see Amber Emerald get so much love in these last 2 sets, and I think we can expect to see other ink combinations get similar boosts in upcoming sets. But yeah, Tramp is our number 5, and I think we'll see lots of this card in competitive decks. At number 4, just missing out on the top 3, is Into the Unknown. This card is just what Blurple players were looking for. It's a 3-cost inkable song, inkable being a pretty huge deal there, that reads, put chosen exerted character into their player's inkwell, face down and exerted. Now when I first saw this card, I completely missed the exerted text and thought it was like the new best removal in the game. However, not being able to remove a card the turn after it's played is quite a big deal, unless you use other Anna Elsa synergies to exert that character, then sing this song. So I do feel like this card is really balanced in that sense, as it's also ramping your opponent. But I still think it's super strong and will most likely be a 4 of in Blurple decks, especially if Hades doesn't get a reprint for Fabled. And the bronze medal goes to a card I think we'll see a lot of going forward. Desperate Plan is a 3-cost uninkable action that reads, if you have no cards in your hand, draw until you have 3 cards in your hand, otherwise choose and discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. Wow, I absolutely love this card, and now I'm sat here talking about it, I think it might be my own personal favourite of the set. It's definitely the card I think I'm most likely to play in a deck, as I really love aggressive dock decks. I think this slots into those perfectly. Can also see myself trying to get an enchanted playset of this card too. Let me know what you think of the card in the comments, as I think it's really powerful. Being able to put this in Amethyst Steel with Dock and Giant Cobra is going to be so strong, and I can't wait to play with it. Also, I love the Namari Raya themed cards this set. It looks like Namari is going to get her hands on the reforged crown. The silver medal goes to another Lady card, and it's a promo card for the set. Lady Decisive Dog is an inkable 1-drop with a 0/3 stat line that has 2 abilities. Pack of her own. Whenever you play a character, this character gets +1 strength this turn. And Take the Lead. While this character has 3 strength or more, she gets +2 lore, so questing for 3 that turn. I'm really surprised this card is inkable. I think it's incredibly strong. When you play the 2-cost Tramp on turn 2, Lady will quest for 3, which is such a strong open. She makes the Tramp cheaper, so you could potentially get out another 1-drop on turn 2. Not to mention Lady and Tramp both have great shift options. I'm very excited for this card and the way Amber Emerald is looking with all the other cards we've seen. So Lady is very deserving of the number 2 spot. Okay, it's time for number 1, and it's definitely not my own favourite card from the set, as I don't think I'll be playing with it much, but I do think it's the big chase for Reign of Jafar, and slots so nicely into big Sapphire decks. Ratigan Greedy Genius is a powerhouse of a card. He's an 8-cost inkable with a whopping 6/7 stat line that quests for 4. And as long as you can ink the turn after he's played, he's guaranteed to get you that 4 lore, as this card has Ward, but does come with the downside of his ability, Time Runs Out. At the end of your turn, if you don't put any cards into your inkwell this turn, banish this character. I actually don't think this is too much of a downside, because you're always going to do your best to achieve this. Cards like Great Stone Dragon will allow you to do this even with a bricked hand, so I think this card's insanely good. Its questing threat and its massive stats will be extremely difficult for opponents to deal with, as he even trades into a half shark. When this big rat is down on the board, you are seriously in a winning position, and I'm honestly a bit scared of its potential going forward. I really want to know your guys' thoughts on this card in the comments, and actually any of the cards we've talked about today. So leave your thoughts in the comments section and let's get a discussion about these cards going. Now obviously there's tons of great cards I've not included in the top 20 that are really strong, so here are my honourable mentions. Which ones do you think should have made it into the top 20? And did I overhype any of the cards you think aren't that strong? So that brings us to the end of the video. It was a lot of fun talking about all these awesome cards, and I'm really hyped for Reign of Jafar. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed. See you tomorrow for another Disney Lorcana video.